My name is Jinder Mahal and this is my story. I debuted in the wrestling business in 2002 before performing a tryout match in WWE's developmental promotion FCW and would eventually sign a developmental contract in 2010 and wrestled there for a year. I made my WWE television debut on the April 29, 2011 episode of SmackDown, greeting fellow Indian wrestler The Great Khali and his manager Ranjin Singh by speaking in Punjabi and was really happy to see them. The next week on SmackDown, I confronted Khali and Singh, unimpressed by how they were participating in childish activities instead of winning matches, thus establishing myself as a heel. On the next week of SmackDown, I interrupted a Khali kiss cam segment and slapped Khali twice. Then on the May 20th episode of SmackDown, I interrupted Khali's match with Jey Uso, leading him to confront me. On my first televised match, on the June 17th episode of SmackDown, I defeated Vladimir Kozlov, and it was revealed on the July 1st episode of SmackDown I was married to Khali's sister and making us brothers-in-law. I suffered my first loss in the September 5th episode of Raw, teaming with Khali, and lost to the WWE Tag Team Champions Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston in a non-title match. In a rematch on SmackDown, he once again lost to them, which led to Khali walking away from me after the match ending our alliance. I would go on and attack Khali during his match with Heath Slater on the September 16th episode of SmackDown, which Khali won by DQ. I suffered my first singles loss in a match with Khali. Then I competed in a 41-man Battle Royal on the October 14th episode of SmackDown and made it to the final three before I was eliminated by Randy Orton. Once I finished my feud with Khali, I targeted other wrestlers and began a feud with Ted DiBiase in November. I broke DiBiase's winning streak by submission on the December 30th episode of SmackDown, ending our feud. I tried to make a name for myself going after Sheamus, but was defeated, and for several months we were involved in many matches where Sheamus always got the best of me. I competed in my first Royal Rumble match on January 29, 2012 and was eliminated by The Great Khali, which restarted our feud and led to a match on the February 3rd episode of SmackDown, which I lost. At the Over the Limit on May 20th, I participated and lost the Battle Royal, where the winner would receive a shot at the Intercontinental or United States Championship, where I was once again eliminated The Great Khali, ending our feud. In late April, I began confronting several other wrestlers, starting with Randy Orton, interrupting one of his promos, and being attacked with an RKO. At Raw 1000, I confronted Kane, while leading a group made up of Camacho, Kurt Hawkins, Drew McIntyre, Hunico, and Tyler Rex, claiming none of us had been given an opportunity in the company and would make one by attacking Kane. But The Undertaker suddenly appeared, halting our advantage, and the Brothers of Destruction took us out. I lost to Ryback on the July 27th episode of SmackDown by countout and began a feud with him, winning by intentional countout and DQ. I tried to prove myself to him by requesting a match with two jobbers in a match similar to Ryback's style and defeated them quickly by submission. In spite of this, I continued my feud with him, attacking him during our matches and ultimately got pinned by him on the August 24th episode of SmackDown in our feud. When WWE rebranded its developmental territory FCW and NXT, I started appearing on the rebooted NXT, where I started a winning streak by defeating several wrestlers including Derek Bateman and Percy Watson. On the August 8th episode of NXT, I was inserted into the Gold Rush tournament to crown the first NXT champion, where I defeated Bo Dallas in the first round. On the August 15th episode of NXT, I defeated Richie Steamboat in the semi-finals of the tournament. On the August 29th episode of NXT, I lost to Seth Rollins in the finals of the tournament, thus ending my NXT winning streak. At the Night of Champions pre-show on September 16th, I competed in a 16-man Battle Royal to become number one contender for the U.S. Championship, but was eliminated by Brodus Clay. On the September 21st episode of SmackDown, me and Drew McIntyre interfered in Heath Slater's match against Brodus Clay by attacking Clay. Our alliance was later renamed 3MB, Three-Man Band. From October 2012, we racked up many wins against Team Cobra and the Usos, all of them due to illegal interference. At the Survivor Series pre-show on November 18th, me and Slater defeated Marilla and Ryder when I pinned Ryder. At TLC Television Shows on December 16th, we were defeated by the team of Alberto Del Rio, the Brooklyn Brawler, and The Miz. The next night on Raw at the Slammy Awards show, we lost to Del Rio, Miz, and Tommy Dreamer. I competed in the 30-man Royal Rumble on January 27, 2013, entering at number 27, was eliminated by Sheamus. On the April 12th episode of SmackDown, in an attempt to make a name for ourselves, we tried to attack Triple H, but were attacked by The Shield. On the April 15th episode of Raw, we called out The Shield, only for Brock Lesnar to come out instead and attack us. At the Night of Champions pre-show on September 15th, McIntyre and Slater competed in a number one contenders tag team turmoil for the WWE Tag Team Championship, in which they were last eliminated by Tons of Funk. In late 2013, we began adopting new ring names against our opponents, although our misfortunes and losses remain the same. At WrestleMania 30 on April 6, I competed in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal but was eliminated by Mark Henry. In April, we formed an alliance with Hornswoggle, a feud with Los Matadores. On June 12th, WWE announced that I was released from my WWE contract along with McIntyre and several other wrestlers. After performing on the independent circuit for 2 years, it was announced that I had re-signed with WWE and returned on the August 1st episode of Raw along with Heath Slater demanding a contract until Raw GM Mick Foley informed we had to face each other for a Raw contract match, which I won. Throughout the rest of the month on Raw, I lost to the likes of Neville, Sami Zayn, and Darren Young. I then adopted a gimmick of a man who comes in peace, advocating peace and tranquility. I stated on the September 12th episode of Raw that after I left WWE, I felt anger and rage, but I've since found inner peace before defeating Jack Swagger. Afterward, I mainly began competing on Main Event and Superstars, where I often traded wins and losses to Darren Young. On December 19th episode of Raw, I appeared more lean and muscular. Then I began an alliance with Rusev after I had a confrontation with Izzo and Moray before we both attacked him. On the January 2nd, 2017 episode of Raw, we defeated Moray's tag team partner Big Cass in a 2-on-1 handicap match. The following week on Raw, I lost to Cass when Shawn Michaels performed the Sweet Chin music on Rusev at ringside, which distracted me. On the February 27th episode of Raw, me and Rusev began showing tension after he inadvertently distracted me, causing us to lose to the New Day. Our alliance came to an end at Fastlane when I told Raw GM Mick Foley about my desire to return to singles competition, which prompted him to place us in a match with both me and Rusev, losing our respective matches against Cesaro and Big Show. On the WrestleMania 33 kickoff on April 2nd, or maybe 1st, I can't tell, I was the runner-up in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal out of the 32 participants being eliminated last by Mojo Rawley after Rob Gronkowski interfered. On the April 11th episode of SmackDown, it was revealed I had been drafted there as a part of the Superstar shakeup, and later that night faced Rawley in losing effort after Gronkowski once again interfered to interfere. Though I would eventually get my first win over Rawley on the June 6th episode of SmackDown Live. On the April 18th episode of SmackDown, I won a six-pack challenge also involving Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper when I pinned Sami Zayn to become #1 contender for the WWE Championship. I would attack Randy Orton at the Raw pay-per-view at Backlash April 30th in his match with Bray Wyatt and took the title, costing him the match. This led to SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon to force me to turn over the stolen belt. I would go on to defeat Sami Zayn and AJ Styles and even pin Orton in a six-man tag team match, earning my team the victory. At Backlash on May 21st, I defeated Orton to win the WWE Championship with interference from the Bollywood Boys, whom I formed an alliance with on the April 18th episode of SmackDown earlier. This would make me the 50th recognized WWE Champion and the first of Indian descent. After I held a Punjabi celebration for my WWE Championship win, SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon announced Orton invoked his rematch clause for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on June 18th. WWE Hall of Famers Cowboy Bob Orton, Ric Flair, and Sergeant Slaughter were at ringside, but I still managed to defeat Orton in my first title defense. Orton demanded another match, but Shane McMahon granted it at the condition that I could choose the stipulation, which was a Punjabi prison match. During the promo, I would refer to the Great Khali as my personal hero and ignored our past issues. Khali eventually returned at Battleground on July 23rd to help me retain the title, though he hasn't returned to WWE full-time. I am currently scheduled to defend my title against Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam on August 20, 2017. This is where my story ends as of now, and I'll see